Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Monica Yearwood and I'm the founder of Hamsa Ayurveda and Yoga in Chicago. And as you can see, the title of this presentation is for teaching a technique to relieve acid reflux, as well as symptoms related to silent reflux like asthma or heart palpitations, as well as to relieve hiatal hernia. So the reason why I created this video is because 2 years ago, I created a video that taught a technique for releasing hiatal hernia. And I was overwhelmed by the response. I have literally gotten hundreds of emails over the past 2 years from people who say that the technique has not only just relieved them of their symptoms, but completely absolved them. Even if you just go to the video itself, which is on my channel. And so if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But underneath that video, you will see literally hundreds of comments from people saying that that technique completely resolved their symptoms. So I've also gotten some questions, redundant questions, asking for clarity from people. So I thought that I would reteach the technique today, kind of break it down again, but also teach you some additional techniques that can really help you with relieving acid reflux, symptoms of silent reflux like heart palpitations and asthma, as well as hiatal hernia. I also want to just give you a little bit of a brief background in how I devised that series of techniques. I am a massage therapist, an Ayurvedic practitioner, a yoga instructor, an herbalist, an aromatherapist, and I own a center here in Chicago where I customize detox programs for people. Because of all of those things, I happen to be very fascinated by the human body. I study anatomy for fun. And so whenever something goes awry in my own body, I'm always kind of like feeling around in there and, trying to get at the origin. 15 years ago, I had actually developed asthma. And it was out of the blue, and I was like, what is this? And so I ended up going to an allergist thinking that it was an allergy because I had just moved down to Florida at the time, and I thought maybe there was something in the air that I wasn't used to. And I was diagnosed with acid reflux and given a proton pump inhibitor, which I knew straight away that that was not the route that I wanted to go, as PPIs, they can be very addictive, and I just didn't want to go that way. And so instead I started to employ different fasting methods, and after doing some fasting, I really got rid of my symptoms quite rapidly, actually. But over the years, it would continue to come back, and so I was intrigued, at what exactly this was. So I started to explore the diaphragm, myself and my own body, and I started to find that there were these extraordinarily tender points, and then I wanted to get at them and I wanted to relieve them. So I actually came up with that sequence that I taught in that video from 2 years ago that's on my channel. I came up with that technique to release my own symptoms, and it worked. And there are other things that I did that really relieved me of that pain. And so those are the things that I do and teach my clients and help them to relieve their pain. And as I've said a few times now, literally hundreds of people have said the same. So I think I know why it's working. And so I want to share that with you. And to do that, I have to show you a picture. And so I hope you'll just bear with me and hope that you find this interesting. And you should, because if you have something that's going on with your body, you should educate yourself as much as you can and just look at the human form and see, so you can wrap your mind around how this is working. Okay, so this is a picture of the diaphragm. Isn't that amazing? So it's actually kind of like this parachute shaped muscle, and then your organs and your stomach is up here. So what happens with like a hiatal hernia is that the stomach goes up through this hole where it's not supposed to into the other side and goes into the esophagus, and then you start getting symptoms like of acid reflux and everything. So these exercises, which include deep breathing and certain stretching, and also stretch all the vertebrae and the back. And so, in my research, I came across, some chiropractors doing their techniques. And they were doing techniques that helped to relieve the the decompression of the vertebrae along the spine. And that's also, what these maneuvers are doing that I'm going to be going over and that I taught in my last video, is that they help to stretch out the spine and they help to open up the chest cavity. And so I think it's like literally pulling the stomach back down into place. So I mean, just think about it. Your stomach is like zoop, it went up, and then you're stretching, you're pulling apart the diaphragm. And so I think for the people that it's worked for, it's pulling the stomach down back into the correct place. That's what I believe that it is doing. The other thing that I want you to look at and to be aware of is the connection between the diaphragm and the psoas. So the psoas is the thickest muscle in the body, and it actually inserts near the diaphragm here. So you can see it right here. So there's a connection between the psoas and the diaphragm. So you can see where it inserts here. And then in this other picture, so the psoas is really long. So it originates behind the spine, and then it actually wraps forward. It goes down along the front of the body. So you can see it in a better picture here. And then it inserts on the inside of the thigh here. So this is important because if you have shortening of the psoas, which there's one on the other side too, if you have shortening of the psoas, it's going to impact your diaphragm, okay? So when you have a shortened psoas, the other symptom is back pain, commonly. It could be back pain, or it could be that your pelvis is tilted. See, look at, if the psoas is shortened, it's going to shift the pelvis on one of either of those sides. So I'm saying that in conjunction for people that may have a shortened psoas on one or those sides, so that would be, you could then have, pelvic pain, pelvic floor pain, you may have tilted pelvis, may have low back pain, and then you may also have acid reflux. So in conjunction with doing things that help to relieve the diaphragmatic muscles, you may need to also do some stretches that help to relieve the psoas. Okay, so that's enough educational lessons to help you be educated about what it is that you're actually doing with your body. Now let's get into the exercises. So the first thing that you can do that I think is very helpful is to test out. In the last video that I created, I actually said this incorrectly. If you've ever made videos before, I've gotten better at it over the years, more calm, more connected to what I'm saying. But, it sometimes is a little bit of pressure to have, a video and to be able to speak. And so I actually did say it incorrectly in that last video. I just rewatched it. And I said that the way to tell if you have a hiatal hernia is by pressing underneath the rib cage. That's not the way to tell if you have a hiatal hernia. You can tell if you have trigger points in the diaphragm, in certain areas of your diaphragm, by feeling underneath your rib cage. So I just wanted to correct that. Okay, so the way that you do that and why this is important is because you can actually relieve them from here too. Now, if you remember from that picture, your diaphragm is like the shape of a parachute, essentially underneath your ribs, and then your stomach is right here, just underneath the diaphragm. And so again, the hiatal hernia, and I think that perhaps with many people that just have acid reflux in general and don't have the official diagnosis like I had of hiatal hernia, sometimes the stomach can slide up and then into the esophagus and you get those symptoms. So you want to relieve trigger points in the diaphragm. And so you can get some of them right here, just underneath the rib. So you want to cup your fingers and starting from the outside of the rib cage, slide your fingers up towards the sternum. Now, you're going to feel tenderness. It may feel like a bruise just underneath the rib cage. And I mean, I even have tenderness now, so I'm somebody that's very prone to getting trigger points in this area. And so if you have trigger points there, So pain, it feels like a bruise. It shouldn't hurt. You know, nothing should hurt here. And so if it hurts for you, then you want to hold onto the point, you know, for maybe 30 seconds and do it several times through the day. So maybe 3 to 5 times throughout the day on both sides. And you can actually, you know, massage it. And I actually found a picture here so you can see what it looks like. A closer. See, so you're actually like really getting underneath the rib cage. Okay? So that's technique number 1. Now, technique number 2 is the same thing, except you want to really relax your belly and inhale. And exhale, and the exhalation, slide your fingers up and under. Oof. And keeping your fingers up and under, lean back slightly and arch your back so you can get a deeper access. And for those of you that it's tender, you're going to really feel it. And breathe. And get closer. Inhale, exhale the breath, and scoop, get under, and breathe. And release. So you want to just do that 3 to 5 times each day. So this next technique is also to relieve trigger points within the diaphragm. So you're going to take your fists and you're going to bring them together, the knuckles together. You're going to inhale the breath and hold your breath all the way in the inhalation. So inhale the breath and hold, and then you're going to take your fists and stick them underneath your ribs as close to the sternum, the base of the sternum, so you're in the soft part, like where all your guts are, but as close to there as possible. And you're going to lift and go and lift up. So you're going to stick your fist into your stomach and lift up. If you have trigger points there, you will feel it. If it doesn't feel like anything and you're just like, then you may not have trigger points in that exact location. So again, inhale the breath. Hold the inhalation as you're sticking your fist up and into your stomach, up towards the ribs, and forward fold while holding your breath. Now that you're in a folded over position, you're going to breathe 3 to 5 times, depending on how intense it is. If this hurts you and it's way too intense, just do 3 breaths. If not, you can do 5. Inhale and come out. Okay, so you can do that 5 times a day. Now we're going to get to the next practice, which is what I taught in the original hiatal hernia video. So I'm going to break it down a little bit more, and I'm going to answer the questions that I've been getting that have just been repeating themselves through many different email inquiries and posted below the video. So in the original video, I spoke a lot about, the Ayurvedic and yogic anatomy. I'm not going to go ahead and do that. If you want to go and watch the original one, you're more than welcome to do that. If you like that, if you're interested in that and you find it interesting as I do, then you can watch the first one. Otherwise, we're just going to jump right into the exercises right now. So the first thing that you're going to do, and some of this may sound strange, but you know what? If you've got a problem and you're in pain, just try it. Just try it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over the steps and then we're going to put it together. So the first thing is actually to breathe through a curled tongue. Now that might seem like a very strange thing to do, that doesn't make any sense, but actually, if you do it, and just notice where the breath seems to fill into your body. It's actually like right here, okay? Versus if you just like like if I just like breathe in, I kind of feel the breath like all over the place. Whereas if I curl my tongue, the way that I have to like hold all of everything else is the breathing, and the expansion really seems to take place more like right here in this area where the stomach is. So if you cannot curl your tongue, then just purse your lips. It does it pretty like 98% as well as curling the tongue. So if you can curl your tongue, you should definitely do it that way. So you're going to curl your tongue and inhale your breath all the way to the depth that you can, and then you're going to hold it. The other thing that you're going to do is, it's called contracting the mula band, which is a root lock in the body. Basically, you're going to engage your perineum and the pelvic floor muscles. So the way that you do that is, for women, contract your Kegel muscles. For men and women, use the muscles that you use when you stop peeing, when you stop the flow of your urine. And then also raise your anus and lift the perineum. The perineum is the muscle between the anus and the vaginal opening. So again, you're going to inhale the breath through a curled tongue or pursed lips. Hold it and contract the mula band. So the Kegel muscles, perineum and anus, contract and lift. At the same time, you're going to cross your thumbs and point your fingers and lift them up above your head. And so you're going to stretch the side body as much as you possibly can and lift your fingers, straighten your arms towards the ceiling, okay? So again, inhale the breath, contract the anus, the perineum, the pelvic floor, and lift. Cross your fingers, cross your thumbs and point your fingers. Inhale, lengthening the side body, lengthening and stretching the side body as much as you can. So now your breath is being held, and what's happening with the diaphragm is that it's completely expanded. It's being pushed out, so all of that is stretching. So then you're going to take it a step further, and we want to stretch. So you can do that by just slightly leaning back, anchoring your hips. Don't come all the way back with your hips. Keep your hips in the same place. We want to stretch and open this area of the body to the best of your ability. So I'm going to do this again without the narration. And then exhale the breath out the left nostril. Again, inhale. Contract mula band. And release. I say in the first video, and I say again, repeat that 7 times, but when I was like really going through my issue, I was doing it a whole bunch of times, and I can't really tell you how many times, because it's your body, and everybody is different. So it's really an experimentation. And so if I were you, I would just do it. And I mean, if you're really feeling like it's giving you relief, then, you know, do it at least 7 times a day. I mean, you could do it more if you want. And do it whenever you feel like your symptoms are creeping back up. Yeah, so that said, these are exercises that can be extraordinarily helpful. But if you have a digestive issue and you need further assistance with it, then I want you to know that I specialize in digestive issues as well as anxiety, depression, weight loss, excess weight issues, and skin disorders. And I do offer free consultations to the right people If you suffer from any of those conditions and you are like sick of it and you are like ready to get better, then I'm happy to jump on a free consultation with you, and I promise you that is of immense value. I spend at least 45 minutes with you telling you what it is that I think is wrong and what the problem is, and giving you a high level overview on how I would fix it. People pay money to receive things like that. And so I do offer it for free, but not to just anybody. I'm looking for the right person to get on the phone. So I do have you fill out an application for a little bit of a pre-screening process, just to make sure that we're not wasting each other's time. I've had people make consultations with me who just want to say hello to me, who are curious about learning about Ayurveda, for all sorts of reasons. And really, the free consultations are for people who are suffering from these conditions. So if you have anxiety, depression, digestive issue, excess weight, or a skin disorder, then you're my person, and I can really probably help you a great deal. And I'd be happy to do that and start off with a free consultation. Yes, if you seem like you'd be the right candidate for one of my programs, I'm absolutely going to tell you about one of my programs. But I won't tell you about a program, and I will not invite you into a program if I don't think that you are the right fit. I don't try to get clients with the wrong people or people that I don't 100% believe that I can help. That's not the way that I want to run my practice at all. So if I believe that you are the good fit for my program, and if I believe that I can help you, then I'm absolutely going to tell you about my programs and services. Yes, I will. But either way, what you actually receive in a free consultation with me is of immense value. It is something that people pay for, and it will not be a waste of your time. So I'll put the link below this video to get you started with a free application, and hope that this information aids you on your path. Thank you so much for your time and your consideration today, and be well.